You know that sinking feeling when something just feels off? When you're lying in bed next to someone who used to make your heart race, but now they feel like a stranger? Let me tell you about Sarah. She called me last week, voice shaking, asking if she was going crazy. Her boyfriend of 2 years had stopped doing the little things that used to make her feel special. No more good morning texts, no more surprise coffee dates, no more staying up late just talking about everything and nothing. Here's the thing, Sarah wasn't imagining it. And if you're watching this video, chances are you're not imagining it either. The truth is, when someone starts losing interest, they don't usually sit you down and have that conversation. Instead, they start pulling away in these subtle, almost invisible ways that leave you questioning your own sanity. I've spent years studying relationship psychology, and honestly, these silent signs are often more telling than any dramatic argument or obvious red flag. So let's dive deep into the 5 most critical signs your partner might be emotionally checking out, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it. Sign number 1, the communication shift. Remember when your partner used to ask about your day and actually listen to the answer? I'm talking about those conversations where they'd remember that you had that important meeting or that you were worried about your friend's situation. Now, if I'm being honest, this is usually the first domino to fall. Dr. John Gottman's research shows that emotional distance often begins with what he calls turning away, instead of turning towards your partner, is attempts at connection. Think about it. When was the last time your partner put their phone down when you were talking? When did they last ask follow-up questions about something you shared? Let me paint you a picture. Emma used to text her girlfriend throughout the day. Little jokes, photos of her lunch, random thoughts. But over the past month, those texts became shorter. Okay, sure, busy at work. The enthusiasm just evaporated. Emma noticed, but like so many of us, she brushed it off as stress. The psychology here is fascinating. When someone starts losing interest, their brain literally begins to disengage from the relationship narrative. They stop investing mental energy in your shared story because subconsciously, they're already writing the ending. Sign number 2, physical intimacy becomes mechanical. I could be wrong, but I bet this one hits close to home for many of you. I'm not just talking about sex, though that's often affected too. I'm talking about all those little physical connections that create intimacy. The random hugs, the hand-holding during movies, the way they used to pull you closer when you were falling asleep. Research from the Kinsey Institute reveals that physical affection releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. When your partner starts avoiding these moments, they're literally preventing the chemical reinforcement of your connection. It's their body's way of creating distance before their mind fully catches up. Take Marcus and his boyfriend of 3 years. They used to be that couple, you know the type. Always touching, always connected. But slowly, the casual touches stopped. No more hand on the back while passing in the kitchen, no more cuddling during Netflix binges. Marcus told me it felt like living with a polite roommate rather than a partner. The way I see it, our bodies often know what our minds aren't ready to admit. When someone is unconsciously preparing to leave, they start creating physical boundaries as emotional protection. Sign number 3, future plans become vague. This one breaks my heart every time I see it. You used to plan weekend trips, talk about that concert next month, or even joke about what you'd name your future dog. Now, everything becomes we'll see or maybe, or my personal least favorite. I do know, I'm pretty busy. Believe it or not, this is one of the most psychologically significant signs. Planning a future together requires emotional investment and the belief that the relationship will continue. When someone starts losing interest, they unconsciously begin to disengage from shared future fantasies. I remember talking to Jessica, whose partner suddenly became evasive about their planned vacation. He went from researching flights to saying we should play it by ear, she told me. It was like watching him erase our future in real time. The research backs this up. Commitment-phobic behaviors often manifest as future avoidance. It's the brain's way of preparing for an exit without having to consciously acknowledge it yet. Sign number 4, they stop fighting with you. Now this might sound counterintuitive, but hear me out. When someone truly cares about a relationship, they'll fight for it. They'll have those messy emotional conversations because the relationship matters enough to work through problems. But when interest starts fading, they just stop caring enough to fight. Disagreements get met with shrugs instead of passionate discussions. Problems get swept under the rug because, frankly, they don't see the point in fixing something they're already mentally done with. Dr. Sue Johnson's research on emotionally focused therapy shows that couples who stop engaging in conflict often have one partner who is already emotionally withdrawn. The silence isn't peaceful. It's the sound of someone checking out. Lisa experienced this with her husband. "We used to have these intense discussions about everything," she shared. "Then suddenly, he'd just agree with whatever I said. At first, I thought we'd found harmony, but really, he'd just stopped caring enough to have an opinion about us." Sign number 5, social media behavior changes. Let's be real here. Social media might seem superficial, but it's actually a window into someone's emotional state. When your partner stops engaging with your posts but is active elsewhere, or when they suddenly become protective of their phone, or when you notice they're liking and commenting on other people's content but ignoring yours, those aren't coincidences. A study from the University of Missouri found that Facebook activity can be a reliable indicator of relationship satisfaction. When partners start curating their online presence to exclude their significant other, it often reflects their internal emotional distancing. For what it's worth, this was the sign that finally made Rebecca realize something was wrong. "He stopped tagging me in funny memes," she said. "It sounds silly, but those little digital gestures used to be our thing. When they stopped, I knew he wasn't thinking about me throughout his day anymore." Here's what's happening psychologically when we ignore these signs. We're engaging in what researchers call motivated reasoning. We desperately want our relationship to work, so our brain literally filters out evidence that contradicts that desire. We make excuses, rationalize behaviors, and gaslight ourselves into believing everything is fine. But ignoring these silent signs doesn't make them go away. It just postpones the inevitable heartbreak and often makes it worse. The earlier you recognize these patterns, the better chance you have of addressing them before emotional distance becomes emotional detachment. So how do you fix it? You fix. First, let's be brutally honest. You can't force someone to love you or stay interested, but you can create conditions for reconnection if your partner is willing to try. Start with radical honesty. Have that uncomfortable conversation. "I've noticed some changes between us, and I'm wondering if you're feeling disconnected too." Don't accuse, don't blame, just observe and invite dialogue. Second, focus on rebuilding those small daily connections. Research shows that relationships are built on what Dr. Gottman calls love maps, the small daily ways we show interest in each other's worlds. Ask about their day and actually listen. Share something vulnerable. Touch them casually without expecting it to lead anywhere. Third, address your own attachment style and emotional needs. Sometimes what feels like disinterest is actually your partner feeling overwhelmed by unspoken expectations or unmet needs they don't know how to address. Fourth, consider professional help. Sometimes an outside perspective can help you both understand patterns you're too close to see clearly. And finally, and this is the hardest part, be prepared for the possibility that despite your best efforts, this might be the natural end of your relationship. Not every connection is meant to last forever, and recognizing that doesn't diminish what you shared. At the end of the day, you deserve a partner who is genuinely excited to be with you. You deserve someone who thinks about you during their day, who wants to plan a future with you, who engages with you emotionally and physically because they can't imagine doing otherwise. Don't settle for someone who's just going through the motions. Don't convince yourself that distance is normal or that these silent signs don't matter. Your intuition is probably right, and you're not asking for too much by wanting genuine connection and enthusiasm from your partner. Trust yourself. Trust your observations. And remember, addressing these issues head-on, even if it leads to difficult conversations or difficult decisions, is always better than living in relationship limbo. What signs have you noticed in your own relationships? Have you experienced any of these silent signals? Drop a comment below, and let's support each other through these challenging relationship moments. If this resonated with you, please give it a like and subscribe for more honest relationship advice. Remember, You're not alone in this journey, and you deserve love that doesn't leave you guessing.